Jessie Jane Duff, and senior fellow. She's also a senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, and Ivan Eland, a senior fellow at the Independent Institute. I'm going to start with you, Jessie Jane. Great to have you in New York first and foremost. Last night, Nikki Haley put the best face possible on this, but we know this is far from what the United States was asking from the UN. So is it enough, or is it just a drop in a bucket?
No, it's not enough. I mean, this is the 9th sanction we've had since 2006, and it did not go far enough because basically we're allowing them to have the same amount of oil that they've had for the last 12 months. Great, it's business as usual. And the oil is what fuels their nuclear program. So essentially, we didn't cut that off. And President Trump is obviously very disappointed because why are we still playing this cat and mouse game with them? Well,
and also an interesting point is that, and Vladimir Putin made it a week or so ago, sanctions, the way they've been going, haven't worked. North Korea's economy, according to many sources, including South Korea's central bank, has gotten extremely stronger. They've learned how to get around these sanctions. They've got a black market. So we're going to cut them off. We really have to be committed to cutting them off, don't we?
Well, they get money from Iran. They have actually done some of their nuclear programs with Iran. They have some of the weapons of mass destruction that were found in Syria were by the North Koreans, funded by Iran. Billions of dollars have been funneled through there. And Russia and China have a dog in this fight. This is their little key ally. This is their little baby brother. So they want to pull them to the negotiating table. But the fact is they don't want to negotiate.
Ivan?
Yeah, well, I think the president's right. It's another pinprick, so to speak. But I'm not sure what we're going to do about it. They deter us. We deter them. They deter us with lots of our conventional artillery tubes that can incinerate South Korea. They have a nuclear bomb already, and probably several or tens of nuclear bombs. And they don't necessarily need a intercontinental ballistic missile to threaten the United States. There's plenty of U.S. troops in South Korea, in Japan, et cetera. And, of course, they could use this smuggling
So you're
into
making it sound like a hopeless situation.
Yeah, well, it pretty much is. If you want to use a military option, that's what you're going to get. I mean, we have to accept the facts here.
Do we have to accept belligerence from Kim Jong-un? Do we have to accept more ICBM testing, greater and greater nuclear power? Do we sit by and allow that to happen?
Well, what's your solution if we don't? I mean, you can take them out, but that's not going to work.
Right.
It's going to incinerate a lot of South Koreans, a lot of U.S. military people in Japan, perhaps in South Korea. So, I mean, I'm interested in the solution to this.
That's why we have you on. I thought maybe you would give us one. How about this? Tonight, again, the White House now threatening more action, this time against China, which is interesting, Jessie Jane, because yesterday Nikki Haley gave them a shout-out and talked about the strong relationship between President Xi and Donald Trump. But it's obvious that China, everyone's saying they're the only solution, that somehow they must bring Kim Jong-un down to his knees and somehow get him on board.
They have to cut off all of their trade with North Korea. We have to sever it. We didn't even cut off. They're still allowed to travel. They didn't stop the funds to Kim Jong-un, and they're still getting the oil they had last year. What were these sanctions? What did we accomplish? Not enough. And the EMP.
But China's playing a dangerous game as well, though. When do they realize that, hey, you know what? Perhaps we should put more leverage on this outlaw regime?
They don't really have much option with this, because if we start having military action in South Korea, we're winning. And we know that it's going to decimate their country very rapidly, but it will be at the cost of a lot of lives, because South Korea is only 36 miles away. I mean, Seoul is only 36 miles away.
So are you in the camp then also that there's no real authentic solution to this?
No, I believe that if we push China even harder, we're going to have to put sanctions on China ourselves. We're going to have to stop trade with China. Okay, so we're not going to have Walmart. Sorry, folks, but we're all going to have to suffer a little bit, because what they can do is ignite an EMP bomb, which would go off over the United States and stop our electrical grid. That means no refrigeration, no plumbing, no mass transit. And if that happens, we're on our knees.
Right.
So we have to force China to do this.
An electromagnetic pulse. Ivan,
yes.
Jessie Jane, thank you both very much.